right, so this is looking at the main corner of the house. Siding is not yet started, but we do have the trim, the corner trim around. The big change that you'll see is the door that used to be off the garage access is actually centered. Reason being is that is now our primary handicap and ADA accessible door that leads into the hallway that then translates all the way down that first floor. The big change there is then that this door is our primary handicap access door, whereas the front door no longer will have a ramp off of it. This is allowed for us to meet all of our ADA requirements. The other thing that's really neat, at least to me, is that the whole house has been raised. I know Rick said it in the meeting, but the whole house has been raised by at least a block. You don't really notice it truly, but there are until you come up on it or you're inside of it, and all the headroom is slightly changed, and it's just a little bit more efficient. But it's allowed us to, of course, run all of the HVAC and accessories and updates through the crawl space. So you'll see, actually, in fact, under one of the windows, an actual water outlet or a hose spigot. We'll actually have that close to the driveway this time, as opposed to running 30 feet of hose off the kitchen sink, which is a nice change. Also kind of coming up, as we'll see, I don't know when it'll come into view, but you'll see a giant fire suppression system pipe sticking out of the corner wall, where there actually, in fact, used to be the door, the secondary hall door, and now it's just kind of a strange protrusion. That is for the city or the fire departments to actually connect into if and when there's an unfortunate event again. One of the things that the guys did through this whole process is they actually excavated out the window wells. What we did, and I don't know if Tom, you can see, our previous brethren, when they blocked up the old windows, either forgot or chose not to properly mason or put any sort of fill in between the blocks on the vertical standpoint. So if we ever wondered why we got water into the basement, this is why. It'll be corrected through this through the rebuild process. We're going to have the masons come out, fill the cracks, and then tar the walls. So we'll never actually get basement leakage water, hopefully ever again. So we'll do this proper. Any questions on that? We're gonna back way up and take a beauty shot of the house. I don't think much has changed since the last video that we did. There's less. Well, you know what? There's changes that I see, but then again, that's because I see them. Because I've been coming up here with Rick fairly often. You'll see a couple of wires hanging off, flanking the door, the temporary door. The other thing that you'll see, if you look really close, you'll actually see some Cat 6 wire protruding in certain locations around the exterior. We're actually going to be running a full security system, cameras on the outside and throughout the parking lot for the property. So not only will it be secured potentially from a gate, but we'll actually have actual security system installed physically to the house. So big change from last time we did this, and I'm going to have you just kind of do a 360 view. Fire suppression's in, copper's in, plumbing's in, mechanical's in, electrical's in, and as Rick commented, we're waiting for inspection. So you'll see a lot more in between work, I'll call it. I don't know if there's anything specific that you guys want to point out. I know our fireplace is actually installed. It's empty right now because they take all that so that it doesn't get mucked with during construction. But we at least have a fireplace in the living room. Our HVAC's in. The other thing, and I'll have you walk through our kitchen. The bar. We've got the half wall for the bar in, and so that kind of will give you a dimensional layout of how, in fact, the kitchen's going to look. And it's going to get loud because Bailey is working out there. We kind of skipped through a couple of the rooms, but the kitchen ends up being, you've got a lot of the lines dropped for not only lights, But like I said, you've got the bar in. So it's a 2x6 bar. It's 42 inches tall. It's a 2-tier bar. So on the outside, you're going to have a granite countertop come out. I think it's like 6 or 8 inches. And on the inside, you've got full cabinets at a 36-inch height that'll wrap all the way around. You'll see, if you look closely, you'll actually see over here, it drops to a 34-inch height. This is because we end up having the ADA compliance that comes over here. So we'll actually have a 3-tiered bar, 34, 36, and 42. If you actually ratchet it up. Same thing type with the island, which is this grid layout here. There will be an island where, in fact, we've got the ADA compliance where we're going to have an in-island microwave, an in-island sink, and then, of course, cabinets that go around it. Main fridge. We're actually going with a commercial unit because it's more square footage for the unit and less width than going with residential units. You see where the microwave is going to live. That's also the duct over the fan, or the duct over the stove. And then you'll have the stove here. And then cabinets wrap around. Main sink, dishwasher, a couple extra cabinets. We'll also have a second, third. We actually have 3 microwaves in this kitchen. I don't know if you know that, but we actually have 3 microwaves, 1 commercial fridge, 2 beer fridges, beverage fridges, let me amend that statement, and then an ice maker that's all built into the island. So it's a fairly huge, substantial island. We're going to have, in addition to all of those amenities, we'll actually have TVs on this wall, and then on the opposite wall, we'll have TVs installed. So they'll have permanent TVs. You also see in the island bar, you see a lot of the blue wire and the yellow wires. Blue wires are all Cat 6. Everything in this place is wired with Cat 6, which is awesome. But you'll notice that we actually have 6 data points all individually at this bar. We kind of anticipate that this whole room ends up being more of a work area, a group area, and with that, we want to make sure that all of the data was readily available and as fast as it can possibly be. So we've actually got 6 internet points, all Cat 6 in the island, which is pretty awesome. Back corner, you've got where the pantry now lives. Within the pantry, there will also be a stand-up deep freeze. So that covers your refrigeration, your freezer, and then all the other kitchen utilities. So then it ends up being this area, this whole corner area, for tables and chairs and obviously the consumption of goods. So between the island, which will have bar stools, and then this common area, this is our new kitchen dining hall, to whatever which we or our donors choose to name it. I don't think we have a name yet, and I think we've got two donors at this point who've donated significant funds to support it. So we're excited. We'll see what it ends up looking like. I'm not going to go into the basements. I'm fearful that we'll actually lose the 3G or 4G or whatever it's running at this point. So I think we talked before about the solarium and its vaulted ceiling. Not a lot has changed in here. As Rick commented during the meeting, we actually have Cat 6 in the middle of the floor. So when we do a conference room or a game sort of setup, we'll actually have that sort of opportunity, that utility built in, which is really neat. I can tell you that I think we talked before, these sliding glass doors, both in this room as well as in the dining hall, will go out to the deck off of the house, and we're going to do it in a multi-tiered setup so that it gets a lot of use and actually goes and flows. That it'll be more. We'll see how that goes. That'll be after our CFO and after the build is complete. I think one of the only big changes that I would note in the living room or in our main room is that we've got the gas fireplace that's installed, that's set up. So that's a nice setup as a nice direct vent. I think this was a 32 unit. I think it's like 35,000 BTU, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's all plumbed and ready. It'll be a nice clean face. We'll have a really pretty mantle installed. Above the mantle, we'll end up probably running a drop-down projector screen, because one of the things we did build in was a projector, and we actually ran all the low voltage and Cat 6 data and coax up to an overhead joist so that we can actually run a projector in this. When we do the couch and chair and whatever layout in here, we'll actually have that usability in this room as well. So that'll really make this a really neat family space. Say we've done a fair bit of the sticks. Let me do this. Let's run down and kind of show off the the bedrooms got all the two. Each bedroom got 2 Cat 6 internet points. I'm not going to go through every room, but everything's got HVAC ducts, electrical, and low voltage built into it. The women's bath got a little rearranged, but maybe let's show the bathroom. So there's the bedroom, the whatever this was, trophy room. And then the primary bedroom off of, which I believe this ends up being like the handicap bedroom, just how big it is, and, right off the main door. The other room, there's been quite a bit of work actually, in fact, in here. The handicap bathroom, there's been a lot of work that's gone on into this one since the last time we saw it. So a lot of the plumbing, and obviously that has fairly significant impact. Huge roll-in shower, absolutely massive, considering it meets all the requirements. But it'll be roll-in shower, stall, urinal, sink, and then a built-in washer dryer setup. And then actually you can see through the wall right now where that giant valve is for the fire suppression system if and when the city needed to plug into it. That's the supplemental city's pole where they can actually plug in and add fluid, add water if and when and in case. So this is that bathroom. Pretty massive, pretty exciting. Like I said, all the bedrooms got 2 low voltage jack points. They're all spaced and set up for either bunk beds with desks underneath or stacked beds and double desks. It just kind of depends on who's living in the room, what their choice is at that time. And then obviously, like I said before, this ends up being our primary handicap door for accessibility. Fairly wide halls that come all the way through. So whereas before we had the double entry, right? We had the slate, the secondary door, and then it would open into the foyer. We don't have the double door anymore. It's just the single door. Off to the right, or my right, your left, we've got then the primary closet. Technically, you do have a closet space on the other side, but that's actually the closet for that first bedroom. That was one of the bigger changes that we made. Was this closet ends up being the bedroom closet as opposed to the foyer closet. So right now we're down to just the one closet off of the foyer. And then because we don't have the secondary doors that used to live here, there isn't the transition. It's just the one door. And we'll depending on how well you can hear me, we'll end up just having kind of a nice wood type floor that goes, I'll wait. That ends up, the floor, I'll say it this way, Jim, the floor space ends up running from front door, the floor type, and I think we're going to use some more of the, very likely what we'll end up using in this foyer, hall, and then the kitchen / dining, and then the main hall going down to the bedrooms will be the that commercial grade, looks like wood, isn't really wood, it's more of the plastic veneer type, but it's got a 200-year lifespan and it lasts and it's really robust. We'll probably end up using that type of product. It's going to look like wood. It's really fancy. It's just not going to be wood. It's not going to be oak, so it'll be a lot more durable, but it'll be very, very pretty and very ornate. And part of the reason that we're doing that is we actually talked about doing a possible crest inlaid in the main foyer, or something along those lines with that veneer type. We can actually do that at a reasonable expense. We've talked about it. I don't think we've landed on it yet of where we want to do or what we want to, if we want to spend it. It's not free, but it's not terribly expensive. So we've got to decide whether or not we'll do a crest in the floor. The big change will be the open staircase, right? So the staircase it's pushed back as opposed to where your memory of it may have been. So it's a little bit further back, and that's allowed us to then have just the single transition up to the second floor as opposed to the double step. So because it's pushed back and it's open, it changes this layout from where it really used to be, right? And same thing with like the women's bath. Women's bath has changed slightly where before it was laid out. Now it's a little bit different where, the toilet's over here and the sink is on this wall, as opposed to before where, the sink was over here and you had a small window. So the whole layout's a little bit different. So I guess to answer your question, how the foyer is going to be, at this point, I don't think there's going to be anything super special about it. I don't think we're doing any of the double doors or anything like that. I think before we had a small chandelier in here. I think we've got it wired for it to have some sort of a drop chandelier, whereas most of the other rooms are LED cans. I think we still need to decide whether or not what we're gonna run there, whether or not it's gonna be a chandelier, and because it couldn't really be that tall or that far, but we do have it wired for it. As I said, there's no more of the double dip. We highlighted that in the first video. Like I said before, every bedroom, same sort of dimensions, same sort of layouts. Everything's been right-sized and resized. If you turn and go into the bathroom off of what we'll refer to as new wing, a couple big changes, actually, in fact. In the last house design and iteration, you had one common shower with 3 heads. And we've actually changed that because of the amount of showers that we've added in other places. So we actually now have 2 showers, individual stalls, and actually the heads are coming off of the side walls. And they're fairly tall, which is a really nice thing for any of us that are, over 5'5". So it ends up changing from 3 stalls to 2
Easy now,
stalls.
easy.
Sorry about that. No pun. Not trying to be mean. But yeah, so the showers actually have divider walls in it. So these will get individual glass doors or some version of that setup, which will be a really nice setup. So we've got 2 showers. This is actually going to have 2 toilet stalls, a urinal right behind you, exactly. So this bathroom ends up getting another waste setup, and then we've got the 3 sinks, all wall mounted. I think these are wall mounted, and I can't remember. Either these are wall mounted or cabinet mounted. I don't remember exactly. But 3 sinks, 1 urinal, 2 toilets, 2 showers in the new wing bathroom. And of course, everything's been plumbed, laid out, lighting, fire suppression. We've got an actual fan that exhausts outdoors properly. Amazing. Like, it's a huge fucking fan, which is cool. So that's a nice setup over here. As I said, all the rooms are laid out appropriately. So if you have questions, we'll walk down that way. If not, we'll go to the other old side of the house. North side. We'll say north side. Oh yeah, and then obviously behind Bob, there's the door for the fire escape that I pointed out outside, that you can kind of see that. I don't know how easy these are to open or not. I know this one's a weird one. I couldn't get it open last time. Oh well. All right. Well, let's assume that it's bolted from the outside. It might actually be, in fact, now that I think about it. But yes,
Kevin.
Yeah.
Does that stairway for the fire escape, is it enclosed?
It is. Yep. It's got a roof over it. Everything. Yep.
Great.
Yeah. So there's no more deck off the backside, as opposed to what it previously was, where if you were in this room, you could walk out to a deck and overlook the river. That doesn't exist anymore. That's been completely dismantled and destroyed, and will never, ever, ever come back. Instead, in its place, you have an enclosed stairwell. So, safety. So what we'll do is we'll go to the front side or the north side. While it's just 2x4s now, this will be a nice open handrail, which is kind of cool, as opposed to what it used to be. So it'll be a nice open handrail. And then I think before we talked about the bedrooms and the layouts, I do want to point out the change here in this bathroom. I I think the most visual thing that you see from the outside is the big oval window. So obviously this big oval window is in fact the bathroom window. In the original layout and design, I think we had the shower right about where I'm standing. And after a couple conversations, we decided that, you know, probably having somebody naked coming out of the shower standing right here may or may not be the best thing in the world. So we actually moved the shower from the front wall to then this back wall. And I think this used to be a closet in the original design, but it's in fact now a shower. So we're pretty happy with that design. This bathroom also gets the 2 toilets, the urinal, and then 3 sinks, and then another urinal. So a much bigger, more appropriately laid out bathroom configuration. And again, a bright window that's just about ass height, which is fun for all of those involved. Any questions?
That oval window, could that be frosted in some way?
You know, I mean, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, it could be. I'm sure, you know, we could get, you know, decals made for crests or things like that, or line the whole thing with LED lights and make it glow. I mean, the opportunities are endless, realistically.
Crest would be nice.
Crest would be kind of cool. I know that we're still planning on having the letters on the walls in between that window, right? So I'm kind of assuming you can see where I'm at. So if you look to the right and the left of the window, we used to have the Sigma Nu letters. We intend to still have those on the outside of the wall, and I think they still fit that space pretty well. The other thing that you don't see, which is kind of cool, and I'll just note it because I find it neat, is on the first floor, you have all of the HVAC vents on the floor. However, on the second floor, you don't. And part of that has to do, you have to look up. And the entire HVAC system for the second floor is run through the attic space. So all of your heat and AC ducts are overhead within the returns in the lower space. So it's kind of a neat setup where every facet in every room of this house is in fact air conditioned and heated on a forced air setup, which is a huge change over the last house. I think in the last video I talked about the fact that every wall is a 2x6 wall. Everything's going to be insulated. It's just, and actually I'll be honest, even in this house right now without any of the insulation, it still doesn't feel that hot. It's not sweltering. It's actually a reasonable temperature, which is kind of surprising considering. The other thing, and I know we talked about the floors, this quiet floor subfloor is an inch thick, and this house is so solid sounding and feeling by comparison. Like it's not even the same house. It's absolutely incredible. So, you know, little things that you'll never see, but, you know, thought was put into. And then obviously the maid's bedrooms, you know, right sized and set up, and the dormers taken out. I think we talked about that last time. So that's some of the bigger changes. But yeah, like Rick said, we're getting ready. We got to pass our inspections. We got to insulate. We got to drywall, and then we'll pick out, you know, paint colors and trim and things like that. We've been bidding to a lot of different contractors to make sure we're getting the right price, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun. Any questions? You want to see anything else?
Looks good.
Show them the upper dorm.
What up? What upper dorm? Yeah, here, let's go up those stairs. Oh wait, shit! There's no up anymore.
Rafters.
Yeah. Now I will say, you know, this closet area over here, you know, ends up being a lot, you know, former A section storage. You know, this whole area, you know, is a huge, you know, opportunity for improvement in regards to, you know, tools and vacuums and shelving and storage and things like that. You know, there's some of those spaces that are now better designed, right? Storage spaces as opposed to just leave your stuff everywhere. So
is there going to be a door there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not only will there be a door here, but then you know, there's some of the hidden rooms that we're still pretty pleased about that we won't talk about, right? Because, you know, on this, there's this, and you can't see it very well, but there's a whole section over here that, you know, we won't say is for pledges, but I'm
That is a
kidding.
really big space too, though.
It is. It's I think a lot of people were disappointed, and they commented as such that they were a little disappointed with how romper room above the solarium had disappeared. Right, that it was no longer going to be in use. But the reality is, with the redesign, we'll still have some of these rooms, both in this what Rich called the A section storage. Right, this is over the garage rooms. As well as then actually the transition off of the other room, off a red room. There's a small pocket over there. Now,
Those outside walls are 6-inch studs.
yes,
Hey, great.
yeah, it'll be really. I think we've got to get an R22 type value on every wall. I believe. I talked about at the beginning that the whole house has been raised up, a block, and we didn't go to the basements, and that's okay. We don't need to. But I will say that all of the crawl spaces. So, and we have a few, by the way. We have the one under the garage. We have the one under the game room. We have the one under the solarium. I think that's all of them, right? Is that all three? So we've got 3 crawl spaces, and all of them will end up being fully vapor barriered and then foam sealed. So that we'll get like foam, solid foam block on the inside cement walls, and then they'll all have vapor barrier over the dirt, so that all the air that comes up and permeates through is sealed off. So that was an add-on that we chose to do as well, right? So that'll be a nice change. This house should, smell better, feel better, look better, all of those things. Everything's going to be. It's just totally different, totally brand new house. Again, should be easy to sell for recruitment.
Kevin,
Yeah,
I just want to say I think the whole brotherhood owes you such a thank you for your leadership during this whole trying process, and the result you're getting is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. I think it's going to be the best house on campus, no doubt, and I think the brotherhood's going to really love it when they get in there, and the sooner the better. But thank you for your leadership and hard work and attention to so much detail. It just shows every time you mention something in one of these rooms. It's awesome. Thank you.